I want to talk about having MS, not working, and how I deal with my finances. I stopped working in 2022, mainly because we had our daughter and we could not get any childcare. Up to 2024, I'm still looking after our daughter. The creches are still really full. The biggest thing we do is optimize what we have. We will organize our personal cash flow using a spreadsheet. And by doing this, I actually found there were bills we were paying, subscriptions, that we didn't even use, we didn't even need. So we got rid of all of those subscriptions we weren't using. So we brought down our outgoings quite a lot. We saved a few hundred. In our budget would be our shopping, our personal cash flow, our fundamental costs. That would be around 60%. So that's the mortgage, the food shopping, fuel. One of the most important rules, I will say, is always pay yourself first. Another great thing that I found when looking at our finances, because obviously you've got the budget, you go through what your outgoings are, got rid of loads of subscriptions that we weren't using that, honestly, when you write it all down and you see it, you're like, why am I paying that? I'm not even using it. On a mortgage, compound interest is charged daily. Most people pay a direct debit for their mortgage per month, end of the month or beginning of the month, whatever you do. So what I looked into was, do I have to pay it monthly? Because obviously every day that interest is accrued. I was literally every month paying like 40% of our actual mortgage and the rest was interest. I looked into paying it weekly. Can I do that? I rang up the bank and I said, I don't want to pay monthly. Can I just pay it weekly? And they said, well, we can't do that, but what you can do is cancel your direct debit, set up a standing order and pay it that way. So I looked into this and I've set it up. And then I looked into what benefits I could get from that. And I couldn't believe it. We took out a 30-year term. We've paid 3 years now. We would pay it 6-7 years earlier than that. So why was I paying monthly? Say for example, your mortgage is $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year you're paying towards the balance. If you did it weekly at $250 a week, you would pay $13,000 for the year. So you are making 1 month extra payment per year, also reducing the amount of interest you're paying. So you will pay off your mortgage earlier. Fact. I just think that people need to know this. Always have an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If you can, do a year. Having an emergency fund absolutely gives you peace of mind. Just having that money in the background, you know, if anything goes wrong, you've got something to fall back on. So you don't need to jump into getting into debt to cover these things. Here in Ireland, we have something called the HSE. It's part privatised. For an illness like multiple sclerosis, they have a scheme called the long-term illness card. So I don't have to pay for my medications, which is just a godsend because they're thousands per month. I am very well looked after by the health system here in Ireland, and I have access to some drugs that I couldn't access in the UK. In the NHS, it was a very rigid system. In order to have my disease-modifying therapies, I had to fit a criteria, and it was hard to get on the medication that I am on now that I really needed. And by the time I got it or moved to Ireland, I had had about 3 relapses, which had caused me many problems. I came here, paid for a private neurologist, and which again is really easy to access private healthcare here and pay for because it's not really expensive. It's affordable. So I got a neurologist and I got on the medication that I'd been waiting for in the UK. I didn't know anything about the long-term illness card. The neurologist linked me in with the public system. I see a team regularly, as you can see in some of my videos, and I feel very well taken care of here. I also make my own coffee and I bring it in tumblers because I have become an absolute coffee snob. It's horrible, but I cannot deal with coffees from other places, and if they taste really bad, I'll be like, can I return that?